Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this Monday morning. I have a special guest here in the studio. But first, let's take a look at our weather. Brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Pollard and hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs, and pretty comfortable today. High 75, low 56. Water temperature at the end of the pier, 71. Let's take a look at our Monday moon phases. Brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. Folks, we got a new moon coming up. We finally wane on down, and we got a new moon Thursday. So there'll be some dark nights if you have any floundering set up. If you get some clear water, be some good nights to go floundering. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn, right here at 23rd Street. Monday, April the 17th, we'll have neap tides all the way through the week, but now look at the weekend, it's going to pick up. In fact, every weekend in April, we have some good tides, but it's been neap tides during the week, so I guess you have to keep on working during the week. Our wind direction will be coming out south-southeast at about 11 to 12. Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and look who's here. Y'all remember this guy, Bill Allen?
Left the back door open.
Listen, we've been trying to get together for a while, and our past, we just, when you're busy, I'm not. When I'm busy, you're not. And so anyway, we finally got him back on.
Yeah, no kidding. We've been trying to go to breakfast for a month.
I know. We used to try to get breakfast and every now and then, but anyway, we have absolutely nothing to talk about. And that's why I said that's some of my favorite.
Talk about plans.
Yeah, what we want to do. I said I was telling them sometimes that's my favorite shows when you just have nothing, just sit around and talk and all. Because if we do this, if we're sitting at breakfast, we just sit around and talk about what's coming up.
So when the show's about nothing, you call me. Is that it?
That's exactly right. Okay. Well, I don't have anything, Bill. I need some help, buddy. Okay, we do have. I got some stuff. Z-Man, you've always loved Z-Man.
I'm big convert. Mark Cowart converted me years ago, but they just, your money's worth. It's incredible. But I just want to talk real quickly. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but they just come out with a new one called a kicker crabs, 3.5 inch bait, and it's just fantastic. It's very buoyant, as all Z-Man is. They've got the slot in it so you can rig it, weedless, but, I use these Texas eye jig heads. You can use a fixed, what I call a safety pin, if you want to, but anyway, rigging it this way, and Z-Man really, they used to be a lot harder to work with than they are now. Mm-hmm. But now on their baits at the end, they've flattened it out a little bit to make that hook easy to go in. I just put it in, twist it, bring it up, and let it set.
It's weedless. In
that notch. And then and the thing about the Texas eye jig head, and these are so buoyant that when it's sitting there, when you're not working it, this thing's going to float up, and they can't stand it. Mainly use it for redfish, but trout are going to eat this up as well. But fairly aerodynamic. Yeah. You can throw this thing a pretty good ways, and it's if fishing a jerkbait or a minnow's not getting it, you slow this down and work this, just hopping it on the bottom or dragging it slow.
That's ironic that Mark Howard swung that to you, to look at that, because that's something I was going to mention. They give you all the credit for teaching them how to redfish. When they moved down, y'all got together and they wanted to go fishing. And they knew Mark was a big bass fisherman, loved to bass fish. Yeah. And then he wanted you to take him. And Michael was, what, 7th grade?
Michael was smaller than that.
So tell that story. This is a great story.
It's everything's sports related, right? Well, in that first year of Arnold, we lived on the beach at the time, so my boys were going there. And when football practice started, Mark was kind of like me. I didn't know him, but when he could, he'd be out there watching practice. I can't stand it. I got to be there. So anyway, we got to talking like that, had a lot of things in common, and we started. And Mark was a good fisherman. I mean, he grew up bass fishing. It's not like I taught him how to fish.
Up in Alabama, bass fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we started talking about it. And he wanted to go, and we there were some places back then when I didn't have a lot of time that I liked, the places you could go and wade and catch fish, and a lot of people overlooked. So I started taking Mark, and of course he caught on really quickly, and then we had some boat trips and things. But Michael, who I'm most proud of, is a captain now. He's a full-time captain making a living doing this, and he fishes tournaments. And Michael's got tons of sponsors. It's a business for him, and he's done very well. But there are pictures where Mark would dress him in the smallest, Columbia shirt and pants that you've ever seen, dressed him like a fisherman, where we would be out there waiting, and you had to keep an eye on Michael. I mean, he'd fish all the time, but he wasn't hardly any size. He'd start waiting, he'd get up to here, we'd have to get him back on some solid ground. But he was like Dalton, where when you took him fishing, he just fished all the time, every chance he got. And of course, Michael and Mark as well fished a lot of tournaments, and Mark's kind of retired from that now. He's fishing a little bit, but Michael fished. He won this last one about 2 weeks ago, so he's hard to beat. But they have really learned and refined this craft. They absolutely love it.
But what I want to do, we got to give you full credit, and look what has happened. If you just taking somebody fishing and just teach a couple basic things, and if they have a love for it, they will go with it, and they had a love for it. Yeah. But you actually, I love that story. You planted that seed in them, and then now Michael Calvert is making a living off taking people fishing, catching redfish, releasing redfish, taking somebody else tomorrow.
Yeah, he does a good job. Like I said, he's full decked out tournament.
And believe it or not, how the cycle goes, Michael, now they have a little baby, right? He and his wife Jacqueline have a little baby. So
you can bet that they're going to be fishing.
I know.
But it's just, and Mark and I have fished, done things ever since. In fact, on the 27th of this month, which is a Thursday, Greg and I, that's after the elections on the 18th, and he's running the campaign now. So after that, on the 27th, that's a Thursday, Greg and I and Mark and his part-time partner that he fishes some tournaments with, we are headed to Louisiana.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're going to travel Thursday. Mark has fished over there many times. So we've got a couple of cabins that are truly cabins from what I could get, but you're able to pull the boat right up behind it, and so we'll have them right there. And with Mark and the other guy, we don't have to have a guide. And they're taking their boats, and Mark just got a new boat.
Oh, cool.
But they're taking their boats because over there they have platforms that you can put on the front that are up 3 feet with a rail around them, so you're actually throwing to a specific fish.
That's the best situation of all. Go with your friend who has a boat. You don't get better than that.
Not paying a guide fee.
No guide. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Sitting here with my dear friend, Bill Allen, and just love Bill and Don and the family. And we've always just good folks here, and he's one of those buddies you can just count on. We all have that little nucleus of friends and buddies, and you just count on them, and I appreciate them very much. We're talking about some other things coming up in April. Now I'm getting jealous already because he's already going to Louisiana to go red fishing. Now, what are some other things coming up?
Well, like I said, right now, it's pretty bad because I'm excited about the stuff I got planned, not because I'm going. Between this weather and my schedule, I'm way behind, but I'm planning on catching up quick. But so this weekend, weather holds and the river continues to drop. We're going to go to the houseboat probably Friday morning and come out either Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning, but might go Thursday afternoon if the schedules work out well. So looking forward to that. We've got remodeling to do, so there'll be fishing and remodeling.
Now wait a minute, we're going to remodel the houseboat. How old is that houseboat?
That barge was put down there in 50, I think is the story.
About 75.
They came back from World War II.
It's about 75 years old, buddy.
Well, it's on a barge. It's the only thing out there that the river hadn't eaten in that period of time.
That's funny.
So, but yeah, the house is sitting on is kind of rough. But Bill, a friend of his, is in the cabinet business, and he had a whole house worth of cabins rejected, not because there were any burst of cabinets rejected. They were fine, but the people changed their minds and wanted a different cabinet. So they're sitting there basically paid for, and Bill has got them. So we're going to pull all those old cabinets, and kind of remodel that and put those new ones in. But I think, we may knock some of them down this weekend. But there'll be plenty of time to fish and eat.
But now are you going to set out some trot lines or just catfish at the bottom, or what do y'all think? You don't know?
If the river continues to come on down, we'll get some trot lines, that's for sure. But we always are going to fish. That's where you get my size cat, the ones I want. About that big, but corn cob size.
Yeah, they're good and all.
And then I've got to get with you on the dates. I haven't talked to my brother-in-law yet, but we're headed to the mountains probably mid-May this time.
Mid-May. Okay.
The other thing is give it a little more time. There's been a ton of rain up, North Carolina, North Georgia, and that kind of thing. So, it's very tough, especially on an old man fishing those slick rocks in real high, fast water.
Yeah.
Now Dalton can run across it like
he does
without
get
any
swift.
problem.
Yeah.
But you've been there. You can get some of that water. You got to stand your ground. So I don't like those deep. You got to watch out.
I was telling Bill, we were talking about doing a commercial break, and I said, wait a minute, you're doing this like a triangle. You're going back in Louisiana, then you're going to come here to the houseboat, and then you're going up the mountains. So look at that perfect triangle right there of red fishing, houseboat, and fly fishing. That's
I've got some serious catching up to do. So this next month
good.
From here, I'm hoping is, and then it's time. The pompano started running.
Yeah.
And the fish are getting more active. Our water temperature is stabilizing a little bit and coming up. So it's a great time. It's an exciting time.
Well, I mean, you hitting Louisiana like with redfish and all, but getting back to the mountains, I love how you do it. You leave early on Thursday morning, usually, real early, and by Thursday afternoon we up there fly fishing.
Either Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how it is. But I get excited and I can't sleep, so I just quit a few years ago. I said, well, to heck with this. I'll go to bed a little bit early, but I get so excited that I was, waking up at 2:30, could go back to sleep thinking about it. So Dalton started coming to the house and staying, and we just are packed up and we leave right then, and that puts us up in the mountains about noon.
Yeah.
And so, we're pretty. Even though we got a lot of stuff,
and literally
efficient with our camping.
Set up camp. I mean, literally, we're camping. You set up camp, the tents and all, and the cooking area, and get all that.
Like I said, we've done it. We're not lacking for anything, but we get it set up pretty quickly. So that gives you that extra afternoon, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, depending on when we can go, and then usually come out. Sunday. Sometimes we'll fish that morning, just depending. But
and they stock it on a pretty regular basis.
The Snowbird Creek was the main creek that we fished. There are several creeks up there, but that's the main one and the one we camp on. It's still, there are still native fish in there, but it's hatchery supported. So they put browns and brooks and rainbows in there. And they put the schedule out as to when they're stocking. So if you plan in a trip, you want to get there a week or two after they stock. Of course, all the locals know they're all standing out there. You can't. It takes those fish a little while to get acclimated. They've been in a big swimming pool and they put them in the stream. They have to work their way around and get wild.
That's interesting if they've done studies on how from when they release them, when they start biting and all. Have they ever done it? That's interesting.
I don't know. I mean, we've done our personal studies.
Yeah.
We've seen them pile, you see 8 or 10 of them piled up, and that's not sportsmanlike, but just Cliff and I trying to find out, we're throwing flies over them and things like that, and they have absolutely no interest, So I imagine it just takes them a while to get acclimated, and then they start moving, along the streams. But and then one thing they did up there, they did a closed area, that at certain times of the year, because they're stocking bigger fish, and they want, to breed in some of those bigger fish back in. So there's a certain time of year there that you can't keep any of those fish, and you're not supposed to sling worms or do anything. Of course, we don't do that, but you're supposed to use single hook artificial, which is basically a fly, or some people use those beetle spins fishing from the bank. But that closed to harvest, and then let those fish get bigger. And we've seen the benefit of them. We've caught some of those bigger fish. But the fish can't read, so once they get in there, those bigger fish will come downstream too. There's a bridge up to the end where they stock those.
I remember that. That's cool.
It's called delayed harvest water. So.
Oh, cool. We're going to take our final break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game times today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Fort St. Joe. Our time, 9:45 to 11:45 this morning, and 10:10 to 12:10 later on tonight. In celebration of Bill Allen coming back on the show, we're going to do a giveaway. And Weewaw Wiggler Bait and Tackle. Richard Lawrence and his family have been so generous in giving us all these different things and all. So we're going to, ironically, we were just talking about Z-Man, and how about that? A Z-Man trout. That's a trout trick. Now, have you fished with that color?
Swimming trout trick. It's an excellent bait.
Excellent bait right there. And we always talk about the voodoo shrimp, and that's a good shrimp right there. Every package we've given away has had a voodoo shrimp in it, and that's a good one. What else we got over there?
Well, you got these these shrimp.
I'm sorry. This is okay. That's the voodoo shrimp here. That's the voodoo swimming mullet. Okay. I looked at them earlier.
You got some DOA in there.
What we got here? A little shad, a little flicker shad. That's a good one.
These pretty much got everything covered.
Okay, and then a blue shrimp. What do you think about a blue shrimp?
Crazier things have happened. I haven't used one, but.
What was that? It reminds me of that bait that Bill Shields was using that for his catfish. What did he make it that when he mixed all that stuff together? Chicken, what was that?
Oh Lord,
one of his concoctions.
Yeah,
but you never heard of it. I'd never heard of blue shrimp, but obviously the different colors.
Yeah, that was a failed effort. That didn't work.
Jam Fab.
Things we've tried.
The Jam Fab folks started here in Bay County, in the northern part of the county, and I don't know whatever happened to them, but I remember when they started. We were in the early years of the show. But they obviously been successful, or they either sold it to someone else. If y'all know the history of them, let me know. And Gulp. Gulp has been a standby forever. Tell us about that reel, Bill.
This is pretty good size graphite spool, but it's for 8, 9, and 10 weight.
Oh yeah.
So that's a pretty heavy duty. That's a redfish, size, and or really big river like Montana, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's pretty stout.
Big bass too.
But you could redfish with that, bass fish with that, whatever you want to do.
That's a good brand too. All right, we're gonna let Bill draw the name out. Let's see who's gonna win this prize package. Who's the winner?
And the winner is Michael Stringfellow in Weewaw.
Weewaw, Michael Stringfellow. Okay, you run by and tell Weewaw Wiggler Bait and Tackle and Richard and family how much you enjoy. We're gonna put everything.
Yeah, they've done such a great job over there, and and they have, they bought that, took that over, and it wasn't run well. We wouldn't stop there anymore, but the last been a while back.
When they took over,
we heard that and stopped on the way to the houseboat and went and talked to them, and they just they were re-merchandising everything. They had the stuff in there that you need. They had plenty of live bait and just very friendly people. So I mean, that's the stop we make now, headed to the.
Oh, we got all kind of live bait. Yeah. And we're gonna put this in a Fox bag here, Fox 28. 911 Lone Star, Fox 28. Donna, our secretary, has been so good about supplying us with things to put them in, so we appreciate that. So we got a couple minutes left. So what else is coming up other than your big famous triangle?
No, I would just remind everybody that if you didn't fish this winter, or you don't fish this winter, one, you're making a mistake, but we should be fishing year round. So before you head out now on that first trout or first redfish trip or whatever you're going for, check your reels, check your rods, your guides, that they're not, these ceramic guides, if they get nicked, they will cut a line like that. It doesn't matter what it is. 'Cause I've had it happen, and I had to use a cotton ball to find it. You couldn't see it, but it was cutting my line every time. Just said check your reels. It's time to, if you waited too late if you're taking them to get them serviced because everybody's busy. But there's a lot of them have oil or grease ports in them now, so you can do some maintenance on your reels and your line. If you're fishing monofilament, really check the condition of your line. But even with braid, if it's starting to wear down, you need to cut sections off. But just do some things to be prepared to make your spring fishing a lot better. You're not fooling with fixing things.
And don't assume everything's in good working order and all, because I laugh. I got humorous with Chip and I were on Good Friday. I thought everything was, over the winter. And somebody used a reel last time, they didn't wash it off. And one of the reels jammed up, one of them had a handle messed up. We started laughing because we always try to make sure all our tackle, like I said, ready. And we look at this stuff, and we caught fish, but don't assume everything's ready. Especially if you fish at another place. Oh, I remember last year it was working good. Don't assume that.
Yeah, and too, it's time to check, see how much leader material you have. See,
yes.
Just
check all of it, every little thing.
It gets run down. You need to change when you're out there, and you don't have any fluorocarbon, or you got that much.
That's right. Well, look, we've run out of time.
Imagine.
We don't have anything to talk about. Look what we're talking about. Thank you, buddy.
You bet.
All right.
Anytime.
Appreciate it. Folks, appreciate y'all watching our show. We appreciate the loyal viewership. We always ask you to think of something good to do today for someone else. You have a great day. Enjoy outdoors, and God bless.
God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.